In this video, I want to share with you guys my off-camera light setup for wedding receptions. It's super simple. I use it in almost nearly all weddings that I've shot, and it works all the time. Let's go. Off-camera lighting. That was terrible. I just dropped the cover and like the other side of the table and it was full of stuff. Terrible, terrible, Rick. Anyway, off-camera lighting. Let's go. Boom. I like dark mode. Do you guys like dark mode? I like dark mode. I mean, they might be easier. Let's go with my good old pencil. Go with gray. So I shoot wedding receptions with 4 lights, 2 8200s, 2 V1s. Something to keep in mind, if you guys have less lights, it doesn't mean you can't replicate or create the same look. You can. You just have to kind of be a little more strategic on where you shoot. Now, even me having 2 off-camera lights, I still am staying very strategic when it comes to where I photograph. So let's kind of go in. Here we go. Let's just kind of keep it very basic. My wedding reception is a rectangular room, a ballroom. It's got gray natural light. It's all of that. And let's just say, this is really embarrassing. I can barely draw a straight square, but let's just work with me here, okay? Let's just say that this is the, let's just say that this is the dancing space. This is your main entrance, etc., etc. I typically like to cross my off-camera lights, so I'll probably have an 8200, 8200, 8200, 80. Can barely doodle 8200. That's terrible. But I'll typically cross my lights, so I have lights coming in from these directions. You will have problems with lighting here and here. The reason being, you'll have problems in these 2 areas, kind of this space and this space, is that the subject will be harshly lit. Now, the best way to counter that is to kind of move the lights as far as possible to the corners of the room if you can. The light fall off is less dramatic when you're further away from the light source. Does that make sense? Let's kind of move on. I have an 8200 here, an 8200 here. And typically when I'm photographing, I'll probably have a camera here. That's not even a camera, Rick. So this is my camera here. I like to photograph within this space right here. Or I will stay away from my 8200s because again, the closer you are to the light source, the harsher the light. So what I mean by that is if you are photographing within these spaces here, let me change the, let's do blue. Let's do red, because red means like you shouldn't be photographing there. Oh, red does not show in black, Rick. Duh. Maybe I'll do this way? Yeah. I would stay away from these areas, because that is going to be the source of the harshest light. So you'll have very dramatic shadows on people that you're photographing, whether it's the bride and groom, etc., etc. I like to do it this way because then there'll always be a light on the side or on the opposite side. So they're always in parallel. Rather they'll always be in parallel. There'll be a light behind them and there'll be a source of light in front of them, regardless of where you're shooting in these spaces. So the light is pretty even on them. It's just you're creating a very much more dramatic look. Now again, this lighting setup might not work for your particular style because this is my style today. It's a little bit more dark, it's a little bit more edgy, if you will. But I like to do this, and this is basically how I light most, if not all, of my wedding receptions. I just wanted to kind of share that with you guys. It's super simple. Now your question might be like, hey Rick, well how do you kind of fill the shadows? You can certainly use something like this. You can kind of mount one of these, or you can use something like this, which is the kind of fill bounce card. It'll kind of fill in the shadows. I don't typically do that, and again, it really depends on how high the ceiling is, but I'll typically bounce the light a little bit in the direction where I want the fill light to come in from. Most wedding receptions that I photograph typically have a white ceiling, so regardless of how high the ceiling is, how much power you'll need, I'll just kind of bounce that off the ceiling and make sure I source it the direction that I want to. So I am typically moving my flash from left to right as a bounce back most of the night. So you have to kind of be wary where you're standing in relationship to your subject and those off-camera lights to create something visually appealing. That's kind of basically it, guys. If you guys are interested in more videos like this, let me know in the comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. No, seriously, like, did you guys like the artwork? Like, I'm, you know, kind of just like this. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.